It was really a magical moment in the biggest game of them all, and the bloke who performed the deed, Heath Shaw, joins us. I noticed you were smiling when you had another look. Like the rest of it, it was a great moment. Welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, it's always good to sort of look back at that. I didn't think I'd be remembered for a smother in my footy career, but I think I will now, so it's good to see.
I just got a text from Uncle Tony. I agree with him. You're still number 2. Tony Shaw for mine is still number 1. But tell me, what's it like growing up? Your dad captain of Collingwood, your uncle captain of Collingwood. What was it like growing up a Shaw?
I suppose you always have that that stigma of being a Shaw, and you're only there for sort of your last name, and people give you a bit of crap about that last name. But I worked hard on my footy, sort of my younger years, and going through the under-18 competition, and sort of repaid that faith when I got drafted, and hopefully I've done a bit for the club and made my own sort of name.
Why do you say stigma? I would have thought it's a famous name in footy.
Yeah, it's a famous name in footy, but growing up you sort of get a little bit of crap from opposition players, and even as a young kid, being Ray's son and Uncle Tone being there as well, they sort of say, oh, you're not as good as your father, or you have that sort of stigma about the name. But yeah, as I said, I just hope I've paved my own way and created my own name, sort of thing.
146 games actually leaves you exactly where your father ended his career. 146.
Yeah, it's a good timing going up to Sydney this week against Reece, and going past Raymond, and all the family are going to be there, so it's going to be a great occasion on Saturday night, and hopefully we can get another win against Sydney.
Will you talk to him before the game? Will you seek him out? Do you have any formalities that you observe?
I speak to him before every game and speak to him after every game. So.
Do you ask him about his beard?
He should.
I stayed with him a couple of weeks ago when we went up to play GWS, and I mentioned it to him, but there's no real reason behind it. I think the razor's been retired for the year, and he's just going to grow it out.
Before I let Roosie have a crack at you, what do you think of his comments? Clearly he's concerned about the way that your defence is almost dysfunctional, I think, to coin a phrase.
I think we've been pretty inconsistent throughout the year defensively. Maybe that's personnel, but we came into this year, and I suppose at the end of every year you assess where you're at, and you have to change things, no matter you finish first or you finish 16th, because you don't want to stand still. You want to move forward, and we thought we needed to work on offence a little bit more, but still have that defensive side of our game. So it's hard to find a good balance of that, and to round 18, I think we are now, 19, we're still trying to find that balance, because we've had some really good patches and some pretty average patches, and we're going to have to sort of smooth that out if we're going to make an impact.
That one play you seem to have dropped, is that Wellingham, not dropped, but I mean that tagging type player, was that a conscious thing, or was it just the way the season has evolved?
Yeah, I think Sherrod's probably played a bit more forward this year, and you've seen guys like Beamsy and Sidey and Blairy step up, and you don't want to take away their natural flair, and they've done so well in that midfield, winning the ball and getting it forward. You don't want to sort of say to them, go and tag someone, or take them out of that position. So we've sort of let that evolve as well, and some teams have taggers. We naturally haven't had one, sort of a hard tagger for a few years now, and it's worked for us, but you definitely have to look at things throughout the year, and maybe that's something we might change.
I mean, to be fair to you, I think one area of your game that has improved is defensively. I thought you were outstanding on the weekend. I mean, some of the spoils and some of the times that you actually were able to close the gap, and we see a few here as we go through it. I mean, you were one out a lot of the time, which is a bit unusual. It's a bit unusual to see Collingwood defenders one out over the last 2 or 3 years, but there were so many times during the game I watched, and you saved some of these defensive here. It was interesting because Mick did cop a lot of criticism for leaving you in the back pocket and full back, but it seems to, in the long term, made you a better player. Would that be right?
Yeah, definitely. Mick sort of said to me a couple of times, just deal with it, sort of thing. I'm going to have to deal with it throughout my career, so I think that made me a better player, and yeah, as you saw, sort of played like a defender on the weekend. I love to have the ball in my hand. I love to run with the ball and impact the game, but sometimes you have to play like a defender, and that's just stop your man, whoever it is.
Well, I think there's no doubt it actually changes the other coach's mindset, because as an opposition coach, you used to love to take you back to the goal square, because there was in the back of your mind, you thought, I'm not sure he's a great defender. But now it does. I think you arguably the best one-on-one Collingwood defenders. So I think it's a credit to you the way you've improved that defensive side of the game. You've also played a bit more offensively this year as well. Wing, sort of, probably not forward like Reece loves going forward and kicking goals, but a bit more on the wing.
Yeah, I've sort of had a dabble everywhere. Same sort of thing. If say Bucks thinks I'm getting tied down playing sort of full back and getting dragged back, he'll throw me up on the wing, and sometimes he started me up on the wing, and against GWS I managed to slide forward a couple of times there, which is, it's always good to get a bit more freedom, but my best spot's obviously down back, and I'll back myself one-on-one against anyone. I think the main person I'm scared of is one-on-one against Trav Cloak, so in intra-clubs, but yeah, I have confidence that I can at the very least bring the ball to ground.
Heath, a fascinating interview with Mark Robinson in the Herald Sun about 3 weeks ago about attention deficit disorder. You talked so openly about that. It was really blunt and honest and informative to us. How does it manifest itself in terms of your football? Do you have to do certain things to avoid it occurring match day or during a match even?
Not match day. I think I get caught up in the moment a fair bit on match day, and you probably see with me and Maxie and that having some pretty heated words. It's sort of spur of the moment, and you try and control it, but it's pretty hard to when you're out there.
So is that medication to control it?
No, I don't. I used to take medication when I was in school, but as soon as I was drafted, because it affects your sort of appetite, and I was pretty skinny around 18 years old, I went off the medication and haven't had it since.
Is that the traffic cop routine, or is that just your natural personality that you sort of are so demonstrative on the field?
Yeah, I think it's my natural sort of personality. I think you have 40 guys at the club that'll tell you that's what I'm like day in, day out. And especially my mum and dad, they'll back that story up. But sometimes, most of the time, I love being the class clown. But when I'm out in the field, I feel it's easier for me if I'm sort of directing and always talking to players. It's easier for me to sort of focus and get everyone in the right spots and makes life a lot easier.
One last thing from that interview from me, you said the quote was, "Our best is the best," and when other clubs say that, they're just making it up, just sort of almost like a con, but you believe it. You believe that your best is significantly better than the field.
I think our best is the best. I didn't mean that about every team. Some teams say it and you look at them and you think they're just saying that for the fun of it, but some teams, they are really good, but I believe on our day that our best is the best.
Your best includes Travis Cloak dominating, and he's a long way away from that. Has it been an issue, this whole debate about his future?
I think it has. Yeah, everyone says it hasn't affected the club or him, but it obviously has had an effect on him. If it wasn't there, then so it's a big weight off your shoulders. And as you said, we need him playing his best for us to have a real tilt at this year.
This time last year, you're almost unbackable favourites for the flag. Where do you think you're at the present time? Because you seem to be a long way from your best.
Yeah.
The coach said Benny Hill music should have been put under the game on the weekend.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I think we've won a lot of games off our talent. Our best game was obviously the Adelaide game, and we didn't have Swanee, and Trav didn't play that well. And we had 2 guys down in the last quarter, and that was a really significant game for us. And if we can get back to that sort of standard, then I think we can beat anyone. But at the moment, we've definitely got a lot of improvement to do if we're going to match it with Hawthorn and even Sydney this week.
Just got another text. This one from John Longmire. They're playing Reece Shaw forward on the weekend. He's picking you up. We're looking forward to a great game between you and your brother, and of course Collingwood and the Sydney Swans. Thanks for coming in. It's been great having a chat to you. You've been very open and honest, and we've really admired the way you've gone about it. Good luck for the rest of the year.
No worries. Thanks, David.
Yeah. Heath Shaw, our special guest on the Couch. A little bit more to come straight after this, including Mike's certainties in the midfield in the All-Australian side. Currently, he's got 22.